My name is Doug, and this is Leaving the Dream. On October 5th, 2021, Hawaii's very own Sam Kapoi was sentenced to 18 years behind bars in a federal prison. With only 4 days left as a free man, Sam sat down with me in an exclusive 4-hour interview that you can only find right here on Leaving the Dream. This is Sam's only interview, and he holds nothing back. So here's Sam's story in his own words.
Oh, from the ashes I will rise. No satisfaction without the fight. A man has limits, oh, so they say, but I never listen. Did it my way. I'm gonna take what's mine, I paid my dues. I dare you to walk a mile in these shoes. The beat in my soul just keeps getting louder. Give me some of that power.
You had said that the news stopped reporting on it. That was right away?
Yeah, because I can't remember, but I don't think in February there's any news, but February, definitely the streets was talking, you know what I mean? So it was like...
How? Is it because they were seeing people at your house? Like, how are people knowing?
It started at Kona PD.
Oh,
like,
really?
Whoever was working is friends with Brother Man here, there, boom, wildfire.
So it's just Coconut Wireless from Big Island.
Sam, and, it just spread like fucking wildfire, bro. Like, it was instant. And so, of course, everybody is talking. Everybody that deals with the underworld is like, oh, fucking Sam's this, and, making up their own stories.
Right.
You know
but they don't really know. Nobody really knows at this point. They just know that people talking about Sam got popped.
Yeah.
And he was pushing weight on Big Island.
Yeah.
And that's all they know. So you have the news right away did some stuff.
Yeah. So that was October. So that was 8 months later. Get processed. News comes out 6 days after that.
But the streets have been talking already.
And the streets been talking. And so like now it's real, right? The news just brought it back up and boom, like wildfire again, right? So
what are people saying? What are you hearing at this point?
The normal stuff, bro. Like, Sam still working with them. He rapping, this, he that, and I'm like, bro, like, have you seen the paperwork? Like, I would love to see that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
so basically what you're hearing is Sam snitching.
Yeah. And
that's why he's not in jail. That's why it's not on the news. That's why all that stuff. He must be working with them.
Right.
Okay.
And
then is that a real worry for people that you had been dealing with, or all those people were already involved?
No, that's the thing. My circle was tiny.
Right.
Tiny.
So,
like, I literally had the Big Island guy. That's it. You know what I mean? And he had his own crew. Yeah. They all turned on me, and that's the fucking story. You know what I mean? There's nothing else. And so,
did he set you up with your connect on Oahu?
No.
So you had to find a connect on Oahu.
Yeah.
He just said, if you can get this, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I see. So now that we covered that whole story and got to that point, let's go back. What was really happening? So this is the story without talking about the how you had gotten set up. Once they told you this is what we got, what did they tell you? When did the investigation start? And was it from the beginning?
Oh, yeah. So I guess you're asking like when I got my discovery?
Like if you had to guess, how many trips did you make?
Maybe 4, I think.
Okay. First of all, was it a setup, or did they catch you guys? Or was it like they caught one of the dudes on Big Island and he starts flipping to save himself? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, pretty much. So when I got my discovery, I pretty much like seen everything. You know what I mean? Like I remember the conversations. I remember the text messages. Like that shit was all in there. And
from how far back?
December. So it was a short investigation. My part, right? December to February was like a That's it. That they was investigating. Boom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I don't know how long they was investigating the guy that I was dealing with, right?
Right.
To get him caught, because apparently in the discovery they caught him in Maui, and I remember that time because he was saying some shit about being in a drug rehab program or something in Maui, and that was all bullshit. You know, it was this he was working.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and from December till February.
And when was your first load?
I cannot remember. It was probably after summer or something, like in 19.
19.
Yeah,
and then
there.
You don't enter the picture in the investigation till when?
December 19.
Oh, really? So there's a couple months where they weren't investigating you. You were just involved with your Big Island guy. And then was this the Big Island guy or was this one of his guys?
What you mean? Sorry.
The guy that they start investigating, the guy that flips first.
Oh.
Was he one of your Big Island Connect's guys or was he your connect?
Oh, he was the connect.
Oh, really?
I don't know who was first, but eventually there was, on the paper there was 4 of them, but I only worked with 3 of them. I don't know how this other guy got involved, but anyway, he was on my paper for whatever reason. I guess he was saying shit just to get no time or less time,
right?
Whatever. But my main connect, from the story that I know, his main guy, similar story, you know what I mean? Like something happened, he run away, throw the drugs, like in the he was telling me the koi pond or some shit like that, and then they never caught him, you know what I mean? Like, and he was all busted up, like looked like they worked him like bad. But
and this is your guy's guy.
My guy's guy. And so I don't know who was first, was either one of them.
Right. So probably your guy's guy, because he's out. They have the most exposure because they're out. They're selling to more people than your guy is. Just like you're selling to one guy, he's selling to 2. They're selling to 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he gets popped, and then he flips to save himself on your guy. He flips on your guy,
right?
And then your guy he probably sets him up. I'm guessing. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean,
sets him up on a buy or whatever.
It didn't share in my discovery, but
then with that guy, your guy, the guy that you're connect, he flips on you.
Yep.
Okay, so he testifies against you.
Eventually, all of them did. You know, there's, like I said, 3 or 4 of them on the paper. Yeah.
And that starts in December.
Yeah, December.
So how many loads from the time they were watching you were set up?
I think there was only 2 times I went, or maybe once.
And so you remember, like looking back now.
One completed, and then the second one was like when they grabbed me. So
when they grabbed you, right? So you know now, looking back at that one, let's call it load number 3, right? Let's say you did 2 before, whatever.
Right,
and then load number 3, they were watching you from start to finish. They were there. He had flipped already. They're looking at his phone. They have access to the text. Is it all text you were doing?
Yeah, pretty much. Like this messaging program thing, and but yeah, they recorded. They're sitting next to him, recording his phone, and
right.
Today's date, blah blah blah, investigate, whatever, right? And then
so he's with them. They're like, "Yo, set up a deal."
Yeah.
And was there ever any voice calls?
Yeah.
And then so they were recording those.
They're recording that too. Yeah.
And then you brought over a load. You hooked up with him. He picks you up from the airport?
Yep.
And then you just leave your bag with him and then go home?
No, we just would go drive and probably go eat somewhere.
Yeah.
For me, I wanted COD, right? It was like, okay, it's just you get this, I get my stuff, and I'm out.
Yeah.
But then it came. I was just comfortable enough to be like, hey, you know what? Just send over whatever, put it in this account, and then that's how we went down. You know what I mean? Like,
so you were just having him put it in an account. How? Like just a deposit?
just a regular deposit, like break it up under 10 grand, blah, blah, blah. Real simple. But then just, I guess somebody got caught and it just led up to that investigation.
Had he ever missed a payment? I mean, had he ever like, was there ever any funny stuff? He ever like not have the money or ask you for a delay or, you know?
Maybe one time, like he was just sitting on stuff, you know, waiting for other guys for get their money together. And, but nothing too alarming, I guess, you know, like, cause I trusted him, you know what I mean? I never, cause it was going so well. I'm like, hey, whatever, this is going to be the last one. We'll be fine.
Did they get bigger or was it all the same?
Was kind of consistent, like the same. Okay. Like,
cause you were set up for that.
Yeah. It was like, that's what their guys could handle kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And then, so we know now that the third one was all set up. So when you went out to eat with them or whatever, they're watching. They're literally,
I'm sure,
tailing.
I'm sure,
and
or waiting at the places that they know that we have.
Right,
you know?
right.
Texting them, you know, where you guys going, kind of shit. Like I'm sure that all happened.
And looking back, was he acting weird?
Yeah, that last before I got caught. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Like sketch, like sitting down at. I remember driving was probably on the hillside of Kona, like Palisades or something, and I'm looking over, like, and he just like stoic, you know, like that sick feeling. You know
it's
what I mean?
4 o'clock.
Like that sickness feeling of that he doing that, working with him, right?
Really?
Like, turning on my friend, kind of. That's just the vibe I got thinking back to it now. At
right, like it was a heavy moment for him.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I look back at that time, I'm like, oh, that's probably how he was feeling because I remember how he looked. You know what I mean? And it's just shitty deals, you know. Like I cannot be mad at him. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I can do about it. You know, it's like the only way for redemption is forgiving. So it's like live and learn. You know, like just can't trust nobody, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, and I want to talk about that. I think that's I think that's how we'll end it.
Yeah.
So I wanna see. So like that third one, looking back, they're tailing you. He's working with them. Looking back now, you're like, oh, I can see how he was acting. It was sketchy. It was something. Did you turn around and fly home that day? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, I always leave the same day. I'm not trying to stay overnight. One time I did. I stayed overnight. He got me a room, you know, and that was kind of sketch.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, hey,
looking back,
he tells me he's gonna get me a room.
Looking back at it now, like that was kind of sketch. Like he's like, "Oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta do that." And I'm like, "Fuck no!" Like, get my money and I'm out of here. But he's like, "Oh, no worry." You know, his girlfriend, I forget her name, but she'll get you a room and don't worry, you can stay here. I was like, "Bro, my wife is gonna be pissed. Like, this is not the plan." You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I just wanted my money. I didn't want him to deposit it or anything. I just wanted it then. But that's when stuff went kind of sour.
This is earlier. This is before that third load.
I think so. It was around that time. I mean, but he, you know, it was just like.
But that wasn't part of your case.
No, it was, bro. Like the statements that they gave. That's why the judge.
Okay. So it's a part of your case. But they didn't have it on record because this is testimony from eyewitness testimony. This wasn't. They weren't tailing you already. I see.
Yeah, this wasn't actual stuff that they got, but it was just, and that's why if you look at the documents, it's generic meth, right? And the stuff that they got me with,
right?
That's the lab tested 100% or whatever proof thing that they did. But because of their statements and testimonies, that was used against me for sure.
And so. You're thinking this is sketchy, but you stayed at the room anyway.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. I just wanted to get the money and get out that side, but it was shitty, bro. Yeah, it was kind of.
Well, he hadn't flipped at this point, right? Like he got caught sometime between that point and that next load.
Later, yeah.
And then that's when they're starting to watch you, but you ended up getting your money, and you went home after the hotel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I got a little bit, you know what I mean? Not the whole thing, but it was
really?
It was enough for me to zero out my balance, right?
Right.
Costs.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the black yet. I was even. You know?
You weren't in the red, but you weren't in the black.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you eventually got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can't remember what it might have been that 30 load. I don't know.
Yeah. So then how much time between that third load and the fourth load, the one you got popped on?
I would wait like a month or two, you know what I mean, to like chill out, like.
Right. And you were feeling good after that? You're like, okay, it's not a setup. Like nothing came down.
Yeah. Because at that time I was like, I just need one more and I can clear out everything and I'm cherry, you know what I mean? Honestly, I never had one plan at that time what to do after. It was just I would have enough cushion to figure out what I would want to do. And so that's what happened. Like I notified him. I just shared too much. You know what I mean? I just was. I don't know if it's gullible or trustworthy or share. I just was communicating too much, basically. You know, and it bit me in my own ass, basically.
Yeah.
And I took care of the guy. You know what I mean? Like when he was away for his treatment, I told him I would hold some money on the side for him. Like what would be his cut if he was still here, you know what I mean? Like, still take care of him. And this happened. And he came down to grab his money, like, after his treatment, came down and he was all in a rush. Oh, yeah, I'll come down, grab this. And gave him the money and he left and was, like, real thankful and whatever. But still, like, he was working the whole time, you know what I mean? So he took that money and obviously hid it or whatever he did with it.
Dang. And so you knew at this point, because he had told you he went drug rehab, yeah?
Yep.
Where was that, mainland?
No, it was in Maui, he said.
Oh, really?
I heard of a program up there.
Right.
And he played it off good. You know what I mean?
And what did he tell you he was doing? Batu?
No. I seen him. I know that I saw him firsthand do brown. You know what I mean? Like he was.
He slam it?
Huh?
He slam it or smoke it or what?
Oh, smoking it, yeah. Yeah, so they would smoke it on a freaking tin foil, like through a fucking pen. I was like, what is going on? Like, I was tripping, bro. Like, I never did see that shit ever in my life.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I seen that stuff, you know, like they put the tar right on that fucking thing, light it,
a piece of foil, and then they chase it. Yeah. Yeah, dude. And then at that point, Sam, you gotta start thinking this is sketchy. Now I'm dealing with drug addicts.
Yeah.
You know what chronics are. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to start thinking. I know for
sure his guy was using, right? He would smoke whatever. Not in front of me, but I just knew, I heard from my guy that he would, you know, taste the stuff or whatever. Because, you know, the good stuff and, you know, his quality of product or whatever that he's, you know, selling. Like, so, yeah. It all came down to that, you know, like that I was dealing with chronics at the end of the day. But apparently that's how the business goes, right? So.
And then for that last one, is there any indicators coming up to that last load? I mean, does that happen fast? Is it like he calls you on a Monday and says, I'm ready for another one, and then by Friday it's there? Or is this something you got to plan?
Simple as that. He would call, I just about out. If you like come up, cuz blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go set up whatever and grab some stuff, do the logistics, fly up. You know, and I would call him every stop, right? Oh, I just landed here. I'll be there in like whatever.
Right. So you're not waiting for nobody. It's
like, be ready. I just like be ready. I'm out. And when I reached Maui, I remember vividly. I think it was pouring in Maui, but I was calling and I was like, bro, like what's going on? Like there's, you know, not answering, like blowing them up on a text, on the messenger thing, blowing them up, text and call, and no answers. And so I'm like, fuck, like, what the hell happened? So I'm trying to call his partner. They're not answering. I'm like, bro, like something is going on. I had a little split second in that moment, like, shit, I should just turn around. You know what I mean? And of course, I think of this shit after. But then during that time was like, because I already experienced something prior, like he was running late and, you know, trying to get him a ride and whatever for picking me up.
So he had done some sketchy stuff before. You never get caught then. So you're like, this is just him being
regular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal.
It's consistent with
what
he has
activity.
done.
Yeah.
I see.
So it wasn't like
except for not picking up. Like he never not picked up.
Like he would like hit me back like probably like 10, 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
But not like hours later, because I during the wait for the flight, it was probably like a 2-hour wait or something. I could have got grabbed in Maui, honestly, you know, if they really wanted to, but because it was like this big island thing, right? They guess that's why they waited for me there. But yeah.
And do you know why he never respond? Because they were sitting next to him before. Why not just be like, yeah, respond, tell him good to go. You know what I mean? Is it was he arrested?
Nah, I think it was this.
They had his phone.
Or
he just was done.
He just was like probably finished, you know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna respond to this.
Yeah, you know, it's like that shitty feeling, you know what I mean? Like literally setting me up. Like 100%. Like I'm flying right into your trap, bro, and I'm dead.
Yeah, so
dead in the water. You know what I mean?
So he just never respond.
Yeah, and so that's what happened. He just never respond. I landed. Oh, that's what the agent told me when he flashed his badge. He said, "Oh, so where are you going? You gonna meet up with Puna?" And I'm like, that's when I knew it was real. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck.
That was it. That was the moment.
That was it. I was like, this fuck. Yeah. So the agent slipped up. You know what I mean? Like by saying that, because it was supposed to be CA, right? Or CI, but said it. So I was like, oh, Raja. Thank you for letting me know. You know, that was just shitty.